Welcome to the Real Estate of You. When we talk about the real estate of you, we want you to remember that you are your most valuable asset. And the Y stands for yesterday.
Yesterday
Is gone. 1, 2, 3, it's high time! Now let me tell you what your means. Y stands for yesterday is gone. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday is over.
Yesterday is gone. It is bye-bye. Absolutely gone. So let me tell you a really fun story. So I've been had been in the mortgage industry for 35 years until about a year ago when I switched lanes and became a professional speaker and coach. But before that, 35 years ago, I started in the industry. 1983, this is pre-computer, pre-everything, basically everything. So one day, in came this guy and he had this big machine and he put it on, I remember him putting it on this counter, and we were gonna take our phone and we were gonna connect our phone to it. And of course, it's, at the time, our phones, they weren't, by the way, they weren't dial phones, they were at least push button phones. But connect the phone to it and automatically something would come out on a piece of paper. It was a fax machine. It was the first time I'd ever seen it, and I was so excited. Now, of course, we didn't have phones, so I couldn't take a picture, I couldn't share it online, I couldn't do a video. But I was so excited to take it home to have it, show it to my husband, because at the time he was not in the mortgage industry. He was working as a mechanic. And so I got all excited. I put it in the back seat of my car, this piece of paper in the back seat of my car. By the time I got home to show it to him, the piece of paper was completely black. Because back then, when you did a fax machine, it came out and it rolled up, and when it got exposed to the heat, it just would turn black. So some of our files had black pieces of paper in them. I mean, they didn't pan out the whole way. But I love talking about that story because it reminds me of how far yesterday was, and you know how quickly we're moving, and statistically what we're finding is that in the next 5 years we're going to excel what we've done in the last 50.
Have you ever experienced the glazed eyeball syndrome? You know when you're attempting to explain something to someone, your friend, your husband, your boss, your kid, and they're just not getting it? Anyone ever experienced that? I have too. A few times, in fact. But there was this one particular time that when I experienced it, it took me on a new path. And it's profoundly changed the way that I work, the way I play, and the way that I educate others. So about 5 years ago, I was leading a training with a group of leaders from a range of different industries, and I could feel the energy in the room was split. On this one side, people were mesmerized and captivated and so enthralled, geeking out on systems, processes, all this real-time data. And then there was the other half. And I could see out of the corner of my eye, two people in the back having this private chat, completely oblivious to the content I was sharing with the room. And as I'm walking towards them, I see this woman on the end of the aisle, and she's checking Facebook. I'm thinking, oh God, this is not good. And this glazed eyeball thing was just hitting me from multiple directions. So I talk to people afterwards, and I get comments like, that training was really hard, that was stressful, that pushed me outside of my comfort zone. Or my favorite, that's just not my thing, which is corporate code for, I'm bored. My heart sank at the disconnection and the disengagement that they were experiencing. And I left that day feeling more than a little deflated and confused. And a few consecutive times that this happened, I had a meltdown.
When I think of, you, the word you, and I think of the letter Y, the first thing that comes up is like, the person I am today has to change because a lot of changes took place yesterday that I'm not quite ready for, and a lot of changes are taking place tomorrow. So to me, the Y in the real estate of you stands for yesterday is gone. Yesterday is gone. And I guess when I was so I started speaking at 10 years old, okay? And I spoke for free.
Wow, really? It took
Yes.
you that long?
no.
See, I tell people,
Oh, you mean
I tell people I started when I was 10 months.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
right.
Okay, I was a
Oh,
late
I get
bloomer.
it
No.
now.
I started speaking professionally when I was 10 years
Oh,
old.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And my son, as you said, his name is Honor. He's 5 now. He gets paid $500 for a 5-minute speech.
Right, he gets up there and looks cute. That's
Gets
awesome.
up there and looks cute and does what he's trained to do.
Yeah.
But when I started making $2,500 an hour,
Yep.
by the time I was 14, it was a big deal for me. I mean, people, some adults still to this day don't make
do
that
that
type
today.
of money. And suddenly the whole industry changed. By the time I was 19, those same audio programs, that CDs.
Right. All the
When's the
CDs.
last time you bought a CD?
I don't even have a player.
There are some people out there listening going, what's the CD?
Wow.
So,
Right, that's right. On the backside of that, right? Because it's so old now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's no
Yeah.
CDs anymore, and now they've got like online courses, and so things have just changed. So if you could just talk a little bit how things have changed, since you have grown up from.
You would ask the
Yes.
how many years an elder that we're talking about?
You look younger than me for a glamour. I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
I'm about to get
gosh.
I want to be a glamour when I grow up, shirt or
Yeah.
grandpa.
A glam pop. Yeah, I think one of the things that's really important that's happening now is that everything is moving so quickly, right? And, back then, everyone would go to a conference, you'd go for 3 or 4 days, and we still go to conferences, right?
Right.
But we would go for 3 or 4 days, and there would be no follow-up, there would be nothing to really help you. I always call them, they were conferences that you went to learn, but you never implemented anything, because there was no one there to help be the support mechanism and the accountant, the accountability partner for you, to help you develop that mastery, right? So I think that was probably one of the biggest things. And now things are moving so quickly in the world that we have to keep up with them. And if we're not, we're actually moving backwards, right?
Yes.
And so our competition today is really ourselves to be better than we were yesterday,
Wow.
right? Am I going to be better today than I was yesterday? And I actually have some great tactics for that.
That is so
Yeah.
true. I'm reminded of the quote that says, true superiority is not gained by being better than someone else. It's gained by being better than your previous self.
Yep, that's
And,
exactly
and
right.
so if you're tuning in right now and watching this, it's probably because you realize that yesterday is gone. Yesterday is gone. And so when we talk about the real estate of you, the thing that my dad teaches, and I'm going to let you weigh in on this in a second, but he says that many people can't choose their futures because of what's stuck in their memories.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
memories. See, your memories about yesterday, your memories about the mistakes that you made, your memories about what you generated last year,
Yeah.
your memories about all the people that talked about you. It might be your memories that's stopping you from making your life meaningful. It might be your memories that keeps you stuck into yesterday. And so I've brought these two powerhouses. This is a rare opportunity to have two leading experts come together like this, because I tell you, yesterday I wanted to be a star. Yesterday it was all about me getting standing ovations. Yesterday I didn't have time to work on anybody else's business because I thought I was all about me, and here I was, this egotistical entrepreneur in the making. But then I realized that, guess what? Even KFC and Pizza Hut have to come together to stay in business, right?
That's right.
All the major corporations, and you talk about
You
this.
can't do it alone.
You can't do it
You can't do it
alone.
alone.
And so that's why a major corporation hires a person like a Leena Patel. That's why someone hires someone like a Jen Duplessis to come in and take them out of yesterday and pull them into tomorrow. And so when we're talking about the real estate of you, what does that mean yesterday is gone from your perspective?
So let's talk about it, and there's two ways to talk about it. One is, we're talking about our mindset. We're talking about how we approach things, how we think, and how we think differently is what's going to move the needle for us going forward. The other part of the real estate of you is really looking at what's going on in the marketplace, right? So we're not operating in isolation. We're in an industry, we're in a niche, we're in a whether it's our city, our community, whether it's on a national level, whether it's on a global level.
In our bubble.
Our bubble.
Right. We need to know what's going on in the world around us because if we're not responding to that change, we are dying. Right? It's adapt or die time.
Your time is now. Your is you.
Yesterday, there are some people that are going into tomorrow with a yesterday mindset. And the reason why you're here is because you know that yesterday is gone. And you have to do something to decide to define yourself while you are here. And you have this thing within you that says, you know what? Yesterday is gone. The rules have changed. There are new things that you have to learn. I mean, when I grew up, an apple was a fruit. An apple was a fruit. Now it's an office. You ask a kid for an apple, he'll hand you a laptop. When I grew up, Periscope was something that you looked out of to see the stars. Now it's a video streaming app to become a star. When I grew up, books actually had pages in them. Now all they do now is go on Facebook with no pages in it. Write this down and say it to someone next to you. Say, I'm here because yesterday is gone. And so, let me tell you something. Write this down. 70 is the new 40. Somebody over there in their 40s said, really, son? Okay, I mean, I'm pretty high today. Why do I say that? Write this down. Your mission is timeless. Your mission is timeless.
So on business plans, something, if you're not clear and you don't have that clarity, you don't know where you're going and you can kind of go off track, right? So what we want to do with the plan is clean off the windshield, make sure we know exactly where we're going and head in that direction. And it's really, really important to do that. And here's what happens is that we know that light provides us some energy, right? And so we think that's a resource for energy. But what's the problem with this? It's soft light. It's very diluted, and that's what happens a lot when we're out gallivanting, right? And we think we're going to go here, and then we get distracted, and we go there, and it's very diluted. But when you make it laser-focused, your business gets where it wants to go very quickly. And that's one thing that anyone who talks to you about me is I am so driven and so focused. I work 4 days a week, not 5. I have 5 companies. And I am a glam ma, so I take care of the kids every once in a while too. But it's because when I'm in, right? So this is what we have in our industry. It's called the bumblebee syndrome. We're a little bit of this. Oh, right? We're going to all these crazy things and we're not really focused on what we're doing.
He's probably like my #1 fan. Like he's out there at all my events and he's like, but you've got to, when people don't understand what you do, you've got to take the time to educate them. You've got to enroll them into your vision. I'm going to talk more about that today. But so you've got to take the time to build those relationships. It's like, because it doesn't happen. It's not intuitive. We're business owners, we're entrepreneurs, like we're out there hustling.
Your time is now.